Hello and welcome to the Literary Lair. You might not know this, but I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I own all the movies on DVD except for the Clone Wars. I have a lightsaber. I played all the LEGO Star Wars games. I have both Force Unleashed games. I'm a huge fan. In fact, I've been a fan of Star Wars longer than I've been a fan of Star Trek and Doctor Who, so that kind of shows you how big a fan I am. But what does that have to do with what I'm reviewing today? Well, a lot actually. Because it's not the Thrawn trilogy. I apologize, but I haven't read that. What I have read, however, is the novelization of my favorite Star Wars movie, Episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Let's take a look at the cover. It's the poster for Star Wars 6, and it is amazing. I just love it, so let's just get to the story proper. The book begins with the Darth Vader landing in the docking bay of the second Death Star, which the Empire is creating and is more powerful than the first one. He is greeted by Moff Gerad, but demands construction be put back on schedule in order to complete the Death Star on time. Gerad argues that they need more men, but quickly agrees to double their efforts when he learns that Emperor Palpatine is coming, along with Winter. Meanwhile, Luke Skywalker and his group have arrived on Tatooine in the latest attempt to rescue Han Solo from Jabba the Hutt's desert palace. First, R2-D2 and C-3PO arrive with a holographic message from Luke, pleading for Jabba to release him, but he ends up keeping the droids as slaves. That evening, Jabba's palace band entertains the guests, and Jabba is captivated by the graceful gyrations of his slave girl, Oola. Oola resists his demands and is thrown into the pit of the Rancor monster, where she is immediately devoured. Suddenly, Boas, a bounty hunter, arrives with Chewbacca to collect part of the bounty Jabba himself sought after years earlier when he put the price on Solo's head back in A New Hope. Jabba then sends Chewbacca to the prisons. That night, Boas releases Solo from his carbonite coffin, because Boas is actually Princess Leia, and she kisses Han. As they prepare to leave, they're caught by Jabba and his minions. Both Solo and Leia are captured. Solo is put in the prison with Chewbacca, while Jabba takes Leia as his personal slave girl, being forced to wear a revealing slave girl outfit, which is mimicked by many at Comic-Con every year. To Leia's humiliation, she is then chained by the neck to Jabba's throne. At dawn, Luke eventually arrives to make one final plea to Jabba to release Han, but Jabba rejects the offer. Luke then force pulls a nearby blaster. He tries to shoot Jabba but falls into the Rancor pit. Leia, unsure of what's happening, struggles against Jabba. Luke successfully kills the Rancor by crushing it with the gate of its compound and piercing its neck with the spikes at the bottom of the gate, but he is too captured by Jabba's minions. Jabba, furious, strangles Leia. As punishment, Jabba, using C-3PO as a translator, commands Luke and his friends to be destroyed over the course of 1,000 years by the man-eating Sarlacc at the Great Pit of Carkoon. Meanwhile, Leia is kept on her chain laying in front of Jabba. Only Leia is not sentenced to death, as Jabba was attracted to her, and he had plans of gaining pleasure from the enslaved princess. Luke and his companions, and Lando, disguised as a guard, are taken to the Pit of Carkoon. However, with the help of R2-D2, Luke then retrieves his new lightsaber to battle his captors. Solo, by this time, blinded from the after effects of carbonization, accidentally activates the jetpack of Boba Fett. When he turns around and smashes an axe into it, Fett flies out of control and crashes into the Sarlacc, where he'll never be seen again, except in the expanded universe. Leia, meanwhile, with chain in hand, strangles Jabba the Hutt to death. The droids are then set free and jump off the sail barge. They land on the sand. Luke and Lando kill the remaining captors, but then Luke rescues Leia and both point the guns at the heart of Jabba's sail barge. Luke and company escape with their lives before the gun discharges, destroying the sail barge. All of the crew, except for Luke and R2, depart Tatooine for the rendezvous point, where the Rebel Alliance is assembling, while Luke and R2 head for Dagobah to go back to Yoda. On the Death Star, Emperor Palpatine arrives and praises Lord Vader on his efforts to get the construction back on time. He also senses that Vader craves for the continuation of his search for his son, Luke. The old Sith Lord assures his princess that everything is going as planned. Luke and R2 arrive on Dagobah to find a terminally ill Yoda. Luke has returned to complete his Jedi training, but Yoda declares no further training is required. All that remains is for Luke to confront Vader. Yoda then reveals that Vader is indeed his father. The 900-year-old Jedi Master gives one last mention of wisdom to the young Jedi before he dies and becomes one with the Force. As Luke approaches his X-Wing, the spirit form of Obi-Wan confirms that Vader was once Anakin Skywalker, a former Jedi Knight who turned to the dark side of the Force. Kenobi also reveals that Luke has a twin sister, hidden from Luke at birth as protection from the Emperor. Luke senses that his sister is actually Princess Leia. Oh God, I kissed her. Kenobi warns Luke to bury his feelings, for they could in time serve the Emperor. At the rendezvous point, the Rebel Alliance gathers to reveal plans to attack the Death Star. As part of the plans, Luke, Leia, Solo, Chewbacca, C-3PO, R2-D2, and a strike team must penetrate the shield generator on the fourth moon of Endor, in order to deactivate the shield if the Rebel fleet is to attack the Death Star. However, Vader knows this because he could sense that his son was with them, and allows them to land on the planet. Luke senses his father as well and begins to believe that he would endanger the mission. And you did. Nice going, Luke. The strike team lands on Endor, only to be discovered by scout troopers. A speeder bike chase ensues, only for Leia to be thrown off her speeder and knocked unconscious. Luke and Han discover her helmet, then they, with Chewbacca and the droids, try to find her. Leia is awakened by one of Endor's forest creatures, an Ewok named Wicket. Suddenly, another scout trooper discovers Leia, but Wicket does away with the trooper before rescuing Leia. Luke, Han, Chewbacca, and the droids, meanwhile, fall into a booby trap set by the Ewoks.
You said traps!
R2 cuts open the net, setting them free, but the Ewok tribe discovers 3PO, and proclaims him to be their god. Because if you're shiny, you're a god. The droid's human and Wookiee friends are then taken prisoner, and the Ewoks proclaim Han to be the main course in a banquet in 3PO's honor. But he would taste terrible. He still has that aftertaste of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull on him. Discovered by Leia, Luke then uses the Force to levitate 3PO to show off his great magic. Convinced of the rebels' good intentions, the Ewoks set them free, and later that evening make him part of the tribe. Thereby, the Ewoks agree to join the fight against the Empire. But Luke decides the time has come to leave Endor and face Vader. Leia follows Luke out of the tribal gathering before she has revealed the truth that Vader is Luke's father and Leia is his sister. Leia is utterly speechless and shocked, but is comforted by Han. But he kissed me. Vader arrives in his shuttle to a docking bay, and Luke, having already surrendered to the Empire, talks with Vader in an attempt to bring the Sith Lord out of the dark side, but to no avail. The Empire takes Luke into custody for transportation to the Death Star. The next day, the rebels attempt to locate the shield generator, and the rebel fleet enters hyperspace to prepare for the final attack. Luke and Vader finally enter the Death Star and confront the Emperor, who looks forward to completing Luke's training and believes that while Vader would never return from the dark side, neither would Luke. He also reveals that he was the one who coordinated the rebels finding the secret plans and locating the shield generator so that the Alliance can fall into the Palpatine's trap.
Admiral, we have enemy ships in Sector 47! It's a trap!
The rebels enter the heart of the shield generator, only to be taken prisoner by the Imperial forces. The fleet emerges from hyperspace before the battle, but discovers that the shield is still up. As they contemplate their options, the Imperial fleet, which they were led to believe was away, appears and an intense battle begins. Han and the strike team are led out of the bunker by the stormtroopers, but the droids and the Ewoks have already orchestrated the attack on the Empire, and another intense battle commences with the rebels and the Ewoks on one side and the Empire on the other. Palpatine shows Luke the full power of the Death Star, and the station, now fully operational, destroys one of the Alliance's ships. Meanwhile, on Endor, the battle continues, with casualties already mounting. Eventually, Han, Leia, and Chewbacca gain access to the bunker. Back on the Death Star, Luke, with the encouragement of Palpatine, lashes out at him with his lightsaber, only to be deflected by Vader, and the final duel between father and son begins. As Luke climbs onto a balcony, Vader throws his lightsaber at his son. It misses Luke and knocks the balcony down, taking Luke with it. Vader stalks for a hidden Luke to let down his guard while quietly sensing within his son's mind that Luke has a sister. Vader threatens to turn her to the dark side if Luke will not, but Luke responds viciously in intense saber fighting, up to the point where Luke strikes off Vader's right mechanical hand. Anakin cannot catch a break, can he? Palpatine encourages Luke to kill his father so the young Jedi can take his place. But Luke controls his anger and throws aside his lightsaber. He declares himself to be a Jedi Knight, as his father was before him, and before he turned into Vader. Han, Leia, and Chewbacca escape from the bunker just in time for its destruction, thus bringing down the shield. The Alliance is now free to attack the half-completed Death Star. On the Death Star, an enraged Palpatine declares that if Luke will not turn to the dark side, he will be destroyed, and uses Force lightning against the young Jedi. He slowly increases the intensity of the lightning, slowly torturing him. Luke calls out his father to help him, but as the Emperor prepares to deliver the killing bolts, Vader appears. He looks at Luke and then the Emperor, confused on whether to save his son or continue serving his master. Vader makes his decision. He cannot let one of the last two remaining links to his deceased wife, so he lifts the Emperor into the air and throws him onto the power core. The Emperor then disappears into the abyss, screaming, and then he's gone. And I feel bad for the janitor that has to clean down there.
Oh, come on. What are they doing up there all the time?
There is an explosion and a cloud of the Emperor's Force lightning floats around Vader, mortally wounding him. The Millennium Falcon and its remaining rebel fighters enter the bowels of the Death Star, and some fighters engage in point-blank attack on the Super Star Destroyer, causing the Imperial flagships to be destroyed. Back on the Death Star, in the middle of an evacuation, Luke has carried his father's ravaged body to the foot of the former Vader shuttle. Vader stops Luke and asks him to remove his mask so he can look upon his son just once with his own eyes. Luke removes the mask and sees the face of his father, Anakin Skywalker. Anakin's face is revealed to be pale white and his head severely scarred from the duel with Obi-Wan in Episode 3. Anakin tells Luke that his son was right. He did have good left in him, and asks him to tell his sister the same. And with that, Anakin Skywalker, a redeemed Jedi Knight, dies. The Millennium Falcon and its strike force, and the last rebel fighter inside, reach the Death Star's main reactor and fire concussion missiles and proton torpedoes at it, causing it to collapse. Luke escapes the Death Star with his father's body and flies through the flames, and so do Wedge Antilles on the Millennium Falcon before the Death Star explodes. Seeing the destruction from above, Han senses Leia's love for Luke. He offers to step aside when Luke arrives, but she tells Han that he is her brother. After a moment of shock and relief, Han and Leia engage in a passionate kiss. That evening, Luke sets a funeral pyre ablaze to burn the body of his father, still encased in the armor of Darth Vader. His father's organic body has become one with the Force. Through the mist of the rising flames and fireworks, rebel fires streak across the sky in a celebration of one of the greatest rebel victories in the Galactic Civil War. Naboo and Coruscant also celebrated, but only in the special edition. Luke is reunited with his companions, Han, Lando and the droids, Chewbacca, and the surviving rebel fleet, the Ewoks and his sister. Luke then catches sight of the spirit figures of Obi-Wan, Yoda, and a redeemed Anakin. Luke is pleased. Not only is he now and forever a Jedi, but his father is once again on the light side of the Force, and he's not played by Hayden Christensen. Leia takes Luke by the hand, and they rejoin their friends and colleagues, and the spirits of Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Anakin continue to look on with pride. So, that was Return of the Jedi, and it's awesome! It's my favorite movie because it's really two movies in one. You have the intense stuff on Tatooine, and then you have the intense stuff on Endor and the Death Star. It's pretty cool, and that's why I love Star Wars. See you next week. Okay, just calm down and just tell him the story. He'll have no choice but to believe you. I'll vouch for you, don't worry. Okay, Michael, what was this really urgent? Like, say no. Stay back. Okay, Maverick. Calm down. That's not the Mike Say No you're thinking of. Explain. Yeah. Explain. Well, you see, I was split in half by a transporter. Transporter watch, and I turned it on, and it went, and then I showed up here. Do you honestly expect me to believe that? Well, it's the truth. Okay, you know what? I believe you, because Michael would never house a fugitive. Oh, tell me, do you remember where you were before you were transported here? I don't remember. My memory is fragmented from that particular day. I couldn't tell you where I was. It was a universe, but I don't know which one. Of course not. Okay. Listen, I have to go. I have a meeting. But if you have any other leads, just contact me. I've been transferred to the Dimensional Intervention Agency, so check in with me there. See ya. See you later, Maverick. Good luck.